What it do, YouTube? I got some fire for y'all. So, today we're going to be talking about why it's impossible to mold women in today's society. Now, just to give y'all a heads up, I have me a few bulletins like right behind the camera. So occasionally I'm gonna be looking up to the screen to read from the bulletin. Because anyone who knows me, I'm a better writer than I am a speaker. So I'm gonna be pretty much reading the bulletins I have, and I'm just gonna freestyle and elaborate on what I mean. So first, starting off, men simply don't have the resources to maintain influence over women. Now, what this pretty much means is, we live in a society where not only women but men as well, we all have different influences coming in from different avenues. You have social media, you have mainstream media, you have the workplace, social settings like clubs, bars, all these different influences that's just coming into your woman life, and it's just way too many to compete with, and there's not one single man who is able to, compete with the different influences that is going to at some point affect the woman that he's trying to mold. And when you think about this, like when you really think about this, brands like McDonald's, Nike, all the top brands, that sell products, they spend millions of dollars just to influence, common people. So, yeah, that's what you're competing with. You're competing with companies and influencers that's putting millions of dollars behind their product, behind their brand, all in the hopes of influencing people. So if you have a woman and you're trying to get her on a certain path, you're trying to mold her into a certain woman, the woman that you would want for you, you just have to keep in mind that you're competing with multi-million-dollar companies and businesses that is fighting for, space in her mind. So, you just got to keep that in mind. Another thing is, women realize that although it is more fulfilling, it is more convenient to accept a man with low standards than it is to live up to the standards of a quality man who impose expectations. Now, what does this mean? This means that females have basically learned that, no matter where they are in life, there's always going to be a man that accept them for who they are. Rather imposing certain expectations to help her to, become better. So a lot of women figured out, why would I deal with a man who is of higher quality, who demands things of me, when I could deal with this, lower quality guy who don't demand anything from me. And not only could I deal with him, I can control the relationship, I can control the narrative, and I can get everything I want out of him. Men that's of higher quality, that actually, demand their women to strive to be a certain quality or caliber, you pretty much at a disadvantage to a certain extent. Because again, you have so many men out here that is willing to accept a female for who she is, and nothing's wrong with that, but there is something wrong with not expecting your partner to grow and to improve things that and they know that they can improve. And that's the problem with society today. We are so busy forcing people to accept who we are instead of improving who we are, because it's easier to force someone or guilt someone into accepting everything that's wrong about you than it is to actually accept, your flaws or your perceived flaws and improve them, you know? So it's easier for her to just go find someone who would deal with all her BS rather than live up to your expectations. And, you know, that's just the bottom line of it. Also, a woman is hesitant of being molded by a man who hasn't mastered himself and his own environment. So if you're not doing everything right, a woman isn't going to listen to what you say she needs to do. If you don't have your shit together, if you have a lot of improvement that you need to be doing yourself, it's nothing that you could tell a woman in today's society, especially when she knows she have a line of men just waiting for her to pick them. So anything you tell her is pretty null and void when she could point out something that you could be improving, but you're not. And to a certain extent, she got a point. If you haven't mastered your own mind, if you haven't mastered your own environment, who are you to tell her what she needs to improve if you still have a whole lot of improving to do? Now, mind you, no one is perfect. You know, we all are perfect in a sense that we are exactly how God wanted us to be, but everyone can improve. So who are you? And this coming from a woman's mindset, who are you to tell me what I need to improve when you still have things that you need to improve? And to a certain extent, you know, that's true. That's definitely true to a certain extent. And when you don't at least have it halfway together, how can you tell a woman anything, you know, that she's bound to respect or bound to listen to? These women these days, they different, man. They really different. And we in a point in society to where they don't have to follow our lead. They don't have to listen to what we got to say, because a lot of them, they have more resources than we do, a lot of them, you know, because they have an advantage, because we live in a society that, you know, put women on a pedestal and that kind of, you know, go out their way to make sure women are straight. But men, we don't have that same luxury. Us as men, we have to go out here and, you know, take life by the horns. You know, we got to strap up our boots and get it in. Whereas a woman, a lot of things is handed to her. And this don't apply to all women. So, you know, don't get offended. Don't come on here, you know, talking your mess. But, you know, it's just a fact of life that women have it way more easier. They have more opportunity available to them. They have more resources available to them via males who don't require anything from them, you know, don't require any type of improvement. You know, most women, all they have to do is show up and be beautiful, or show up and, you know, be sexual, sensual, and they get their way. But men, you know, we don't have that luxury. So at the end of the day, a woman isn't going to respect anything you have to say about her when she don't have to. And that's just the bottom line. So, you know, just keep that in mind. And the point of this video, you know, me personally, I still have hope. You know, it takes a special type of female, a special type of, a different level of femininity to follow a male in these days and time. Because, you know, females, bottom line, they just don't have to. If you don't accept her how she is, you know, she could go to the next man and, you know, and move on easily. You know, it's not really that easy for men. So just keep that in mind. You know, we focusing more on ourselves. We focusing more on molding ourselves than, you know, trying to mold females. Now, if you do find one that is teachable and that is moldable, hold on to her, because you got to keep in mind that you're fighting for space in her mind. You know, you're fighting for the position of control over her thoughts, you know. And when you're up against people who can afford to put $1 million behind their agenda and what they believe, and, you know, to influence people, how can you compete with that? You know, how can you compete with that? Not only are you competing with these companies, you're competing with her friends, You know, you competing with Cardi B, you competing with Nicki Minaj, you competing with City Girls. You know, you're competing with all these different factors that is influencing her every day. So what makes you so special that she is willing to block out all these other influences and allow you to influence her? What makes you so special? You know, what are you offering? What is the incentive for her to follow your lead? And if you can't answer that, and if you can't, if you don't have anything really to offer that will benefit her in a way that's more beneficial than all the other things, because you got to realize, like, you up against all these different influences, and it's not like you're fighting these different influences one on one. All these influences are coming at you at the same time because they are in correlation with each other. So you're fighting all these different influences, and it's just you. It's you against all these other influences. So how can you win that fight? What do you have as your weapon to win that fight? You know, that's something to think about. So, that's just a little thing that was on my mind. Not such a little thing, but a really big thing. But, it's only a fraction of, the things that we deal with. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is just becoming the most attractive version of ourselves and, stand on the path of purpose and righteousness and continuing to improve each day. So with that being said, I'm gone. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the other side. Peace.